Like to welcome each and every individual to Podcast for Marriages. Hi, this is Mark and Rosanna Boersma. And this is the introduction podcast. We've been told over the years, over our 39 years of marriage, that we had to do a podcast together. And so we're actually doing that. And so the vision, my vision for the podcast is that it would go ahead and help individuals that are going to go ahead and be married to be better prepared than we were. And so we've been married for 39 years. We were married when Rosanna was 19 and I was 20. Our marriage should have ended before it began. And many times throughout the 39 years, the statistics now are over 85%. We have over an 85% chance of divorce. My nephew, he went ahead and said, Uncle Mark and Aunt Rosanna have an amazing marriage. And when his dad went ahead and asked why, he said, because Aunt Rosanna accepts Uncle Mark for who he is. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but that will be one of the topics. And so what are we going to talk about? Pretty much anything you want to talk about. So if you want to talk about communication, we can talk about communication. If you want to talk about, relationships and forgiveness and healing, we can talk about that. If you want to talk about what we call TJJS, Tarzan Jane Jungle Sex, we can talk about that. like we're pretty open books. Like it'll be an interesting, and then share it with other people, like people who are wanting to get married, people who are married, people who have been divorced. This is not just for marriages, it's for anyone. And then there's a special channel on the Life GPS that's really cool to look at your personality, and in 17 seconds it'll tell you more about yourself probably than you and your spouse know about you, more than your mom knows. So which of these 4 shapes would you tend to like the most? A cube, a pyramid, a wavy line, or a ball? A cube, a pyramid, a wavy line, or a ball? And so if you chose the ball, that means that maybe you're amiable. And so maybe one of your greatest strengths is your concern, compassion for people. Maybe one of your weaknesses might be your concern, compassion for people. Why is that? Because if you're a ball, you're an amiable, maybe. And so people might take advantage of you. And so I am a pyramid and a cube, although you'll probably think of me as a wavy line at times because I'm a bit crazy. All of that's fake. I'm not really crazy. I just fake it. That gets me attention. And then Rosanna is a amiable, analytic personality. And so we tend to like people who are like us, and we tend to fall in love with people who are opposite. And Rosanna and I are a testament to that. She and I are so different. It's insane. Rosanna, what's your vision for, the podcast for marriages? What would be your vision on what you would like?
I think having an outreach to people who struggle and who have gone through some difficult times, some of the things that we've gone through could really have made it difficult in our marriage. And so if we could help people overcome that before it wipes them out, that would be great.
Yeah. Yes, there's a place in the, where you can ask a question. So again, there's no question off limits. You can ask anything. It's up to you. So this podcast is really about you. If you participate, you can sit in the stands if you want and just listen. And or you can get on the field. I'd recommend getting in the field. We're always looking for interesting guests. And so we're always looking for interesting guests. So if you'd like to go ahead and be a guest, or somebody who should be a guest, just go ahead and post it here, ask a question, say, I'd like to be a guest in here, put your information in, or pass along somebody you think would be a great guest. And we'll have some of our people who help us put all this together through Life Masteries Institute, which is an amazing nonprofit organization that really plugs into Voices of Integrity. There's going to be things in here that will be offensive to men and women, and especially certain personalities, and maybe certain belief systems are going to be challenged. They just will. So it's a raw podcast. We hope that you're going to cry and you're going to laugh, and you're going to become like part of our family. And it's a crazy one. It is a crazy family. And then there's, mental health. We'll be talking about that. Good friend of mine, Tom Coons, you'll hear him referenced a lot. He's the most recent past president of Century 21. It's the largest real estate franchise in the world. He and I co-authored a book, Community Business Partnerships. And when he saw the mental health model, he's like, oh my gracious, I'm all of those. So we can be talking about that. The mental health of our spouse, affects us, and we affect the mental health of our spouse. So there's going to be that. There's a great, there's a great model on the quantum world about the quantum feeling model, entitlement, self-righteous, victim, and the vaccine or inoculation for entitlement is thankfulness. For self-righteousness, it's humility. And for victimhood, it's going to be ownership. And when we share our stories about each of those, I think you're going to find it very, very interesting. And so you're going to hear things on the podcast. Jim Bontrager, he shared, God offends the mind to reveal the heart. And so if there's something, it's very doubtful that Rosanna will say anything that will be offensive to you. My guess is she just won't. And so there's equally high probability that I will say multiple things that will offend you. And so especially if you're entitled and don't know it, especially if you're self-righteous and you don't know it, and especially if you're a victim and you don't know it, there's going to be things. But just hang with us, and just ask the question. Just ask the question. Just go in here and submit a question and say, Mark said this and this and this, and I was offended by it. What does he mean? If we just ask, what does somebody mean? All of a sudden we're like, often. Like, I didn't think of it that way. We're so easily offended. And so this is about deep relationships. How do you have, your soulmate? How do you have a lifelong relationship? So after 39 years, when you find out Rosanna and I's story, you probably will go ahead and be as amazed as we are that we're still married. Like, I'm telling you, it's a crazy world. I mean, and so if you're an amiable, that's what this one's for. So the first podcast, hopefully you like it. So you probably, one of your greatest strengths is in each of the first 4 podcasts, we'll be going through the different personalities. And so the first one is amiable. If you chose the ball, or you chose things not conflict with others as being the most painful, you're probably an amiable personality. And so we're going to start off with that one for today's. So one of your greatest strengths is your concern, compassion for people. One of your greatest weaknesses might be your concern, compassion for people. One of your greatest strengths might be you love to serve people. One of your greatest weaknesses might be you love to serve people. One of your greatest strengths might be your tenacity. Like once you set your mind to do something, you do it. A weakness, maybe not you, but a weakness that some amiables have, and for sure not my wife, but
No,
some amiables, in addition to having tenacity, some amiables will tend to go ahead and be stubborn.
I am not stubborn.
I know for sure.
No,
I would never, no, for sure. And if you're an amiable analytic, again, not my wife, but if you're an amiable analytic, not only are you, might you be stubborn, but you might have a lot of data that backs up the stubbornness. And so people might go, oh, don't argue with them, because once they have their mindset, it's bedrock concrete. That's not necessarily bad. It can be, but it can be very, very good. It can be a wonderful. So our greatest strength is our greatest weakness. And our greatest weakness is just our greatest strength misapplied, is taking a strength and carrying it too far. So hopefully this has been helpful to you today. Jump in on the other ones. We're going to be talking about, the first 4 podcasts will go through the amiable, the analytic, the driver, and the expressive personality. Then we'll talk about blended personalities, and then we'll talk about how opposites attract, why they attract, and why they absolutely love each other, and why they can't be in the same room together. If you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300. Outside the US, 630-393-9909. And again, Voices for Integrity for Marriages. Share this with other people, and always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.